I would like to call Joe up here. He is, where are you, Joe? Oh, here he is. Estores. Joe Estores. And his topic is a topic close to all of our hearts. It's the military and how they've taken our lands.
It's a pleasure to be able to talk to all levels of generations that are here today. I'd like to start off by saying that I grew up at a place called Ahua Point. A lot of people don't know where this place is. My grandmother came over from Maui and moved into Watertown, and I grew up, my first 8 years of my life, I live in a place called, Ahua Point. It's not on the maps anymore, but it is in a place called Fort Kamehameha, and Fort Cam to a lot of people. On a side note, I gave a tour of that place. It happens to be behind the fence of the military, and there's a lot of things, there's a lot of history about that place that a lot of people don't know about. And because I grew up and I know the place, I'm including that into the book that I'm writing. So I invite any one of you who are interested in seeing this place. 2.5-hour tour, costs nothing. We end up at the Hickam Officers Club for lunch. It's 7 days a week, and as long as I can get 4 people to give me a call, I'll give them the tour. And the tour constitutes the first chapter of my life in my book. That place is between the entrance to Pearl Harbor and extends to the Ke'ehi Lagoon, the coastline along that area of this island. It's a special place in my heart because I grew up there. And because it's no longer on the map, people don't know it existed in the past. Now, because of living there, my family had to be evacuated out of Fort Kamehameha on December 7, 1941. That's how far back I go. We were evacuated during the bombing of Hickam and Pearl Harbor. My mother and 7 children drove through Hickam during the bombing. And I tell all of the folks that I speak to that that began my military career. 8 years old, I was exposed to the American military that brought the attack to Pearl Harbor. My father was in the Army, so enough about that. But I spent 20 years in the Army after I graduated from St. Louis in '52. I rose to the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. I was a helicopter pilot in Vietnam. I have a political science degree with University of Nebraska and an international relations degree, master's with University of Arkansas. So I come back as a kupuna in front of you with a little bit of experiences that I want to share. And this experience happened to be dominated by being in the military. I spent 26 years in Germany. And while in Germany, 15 of those 26 years, I was with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. I was there in the late 90s when the United States decided to close down over 200 military posts in Germany. I was with the Corps of Engineers as Chief of Operations. I was there when the Germans came to the American post, the American installations, and they inspected the places and said whether they will accept them back or they will reject them. And I can tell you my experience has taught me a lesson, that the American aggressive attitude, which I was a part of when I was with the Corps of Engineers, was reflected in the way we treated the Germans. We wanted to give them back the land the way it was cleaned up by the United States. And it was kapulu. You know the term kapulu? It was not done right. I'm telling you this story because when I came home after being away over 44 years, when I heard about Kaho'olawe being returned to us, about what they're doing at Makua, about what they're doing over in Waikane, what they have done over in Bellows, all these military places, I was saddened by what I saw. I actually was invited to go on to Kaho'olawe, and that was the most inspiring it hurt to see that Hawaiians have to go back and clean up this place. Hurt. Because when I was in Germany, when the Germans came to inspect what we were going to give back to them, if they found one drop of oil in the dirt, they said, no, you take it back, you clean it up and bring it back, and we'll re-inspect it. Now, after winning World War II and beating the Germans, they were able to look us in the eye, and I'm one of them, and said, you take that dump truck and all that dirt, go clean it up, and when you think it's clean to our standard, then we might accept it back from you, America. So with that experience, I said, why did we have to take back Kaho'olawe the way we did? And we are struggling. When I went on that island, I couldn't walk where I wanted to walk. So, because of my attitude about the military, I tell people that when I had the United States military uniform on, and I had that flag on this shoulder, I was an American soldier. I acted like them. I behaved the way they wanted. And once I came out of that uniform, I put on my Hawaiian heart in here, took off that uniform, and that Hawaiian heart is back in me. And I cannot stand the military doing what it has done to this island, and now they're trying to do on the Big Island and on Molokai. I can't believe that they're going to use Kalaupapa for landing by the Marines. I cannot believe who would allow that. The military just does what it wants to do. I say no more. I want them out. I'm going to fight this battle with whoever wants to do it. We're going to have to get the military to return the land, and we're going to have to do it this way, folks. We should be like the Germans. Look them in the eye and say, you clean up this land the way you took it and put it back in that state before we will accept it back. Otherwise, they're going to get away with it like they did on Kaho'olawe. Okay? So that's the passion I have. That I experienced the Germans looking the Americans in the eye and saying, no, I have my environmentalist here, my archaeologist here, my biologist, not yours. And we will determine whether we receive it back the way we want it. Okay? That's the message, folks. We got to turn around the way we behave with the American military. Yep. We've been stepped all over, stomped on, and the place where I grew up, Ahua Point, Fort Kamehameha, is no longer there because of what the military is doing. I had a short discussion with Poka Launui just a while ago, and I told him that there are 33 beautiful quarters, homes that were used by officers in Fort Kamehameha. They're going to be destroyed, demolished. When I stand in front of those properties and I look at how beautiful they are, I ask the question, why doesn't the military give this house or this home back to the Hawaiian people and do it like we used to do a long time ago? We cut the building in half, put it on a trailer, and we take it down to David Track, we take it down to Aiea, and we put them back together. Give it back to the Hawaiian people. Give it to those struggling on Hawaiian homestead land who cannot afford to build a house. They're going to demolish these beautiful homes. You see the irony of the whole thing. If they can get away with all of this, that's how it's going to happen. Not on my watch. I'm back home, folks. I'm not going to allow that to happen. I'm not going to let that to happen. And I need the Hawaiian people to come behind me, because when I go to an admiral or a general and say, I think it's time for you to leave, I want to turn around and have the whole Hawaiian community behind me. I'm going to give you a little example of history right here. World War II. At the end of World War II, we had beaten the Germans and we were in France. We were going to do the NATO headquarters in Paris. De Gaulle said, no, no, you go. So what did the Americans do? They picked up and went over to Germany. So that's the first country. Sometimes later, the Spanish that had all these Air Force bases in Spain got up to here with the Americans, and they said, get out. The Americans picked up all the air bases, moved them to Italy and Sicily and so on. So Spain did the same thing. Of all places, in the Philippines, we were kicked out of the Philippines. Now we're going through the problems with Okinawa. They don't want us. Folks, I was in the uniform overseas most of my life, and when I was downtown, I was looked at as what they used to call ugly American. Everywhere that the Americans go, we turn into ugly Americans. So as far as I'm concerned, the military here has turned into an ugly American. Okay? And either they shape up, or we're going to be like Spain, like the Philippines, like the Okinawans, And even now, the Guamanians are saying, we don't want all your troops. But let me move to, I guess, the highlight of my talk here today. I experienced December 7th, folks. For many of you, that's just history. You read about it, heard about it. I was there when it happened. Think about it. Before December 7th was attacked, the United States built up the military installations, the military forces here, and piled them all up on this island to make it what? A target for the Japanese. So the Japanese came to destroy the American forces, not to bomb the Hawaiian people. Think about it. They came to destroy the military. And folks, open your eyes. What is happening today? The same thing that happened in the 30s, the 20s, the 30s, and up to December 1941 is happening today. All the military new aircraft, the Stryker Brigade, the military and Marines that are coming in, and the Ospreys and all these things, they're expanding this military presence, folks, leading up to what? The next December 7th. And I don't want to be here when that happens. I already experienced it one time. Okay? And if you want your mo'opunas and all of your children to have to go through that, it's not going to be with aircraft carriers and airplanes, folks. It's going to be with missiles. And they're not going to stop all those missiles. It takes just one missile with an atomic weapon 250 feet above the air, and Hawaii will no longer be livable. It's happening around me, and I see it. I drive to Kaneohe, I drive to Schofield, to Pearl Harbor. The buildup is massive. You don't see it because it's behind the fence. And what does it mean to Hawaiians over here? Oh, it's jobs, construction jobs. That's all we have. That's our only view to what's happening. Well, think about it. It's another massive buildup. 16 nuclear subs in Pearl Harbor. Don't you think that's a nice big target? Okay? So, wake up, Hawaii. My life has been lived through that part of history. I want to have a life remaining in front of me where we start to realize that if we don't open up our eyes, we are facing another attack. And it's not going to be by Japan. We don't know who. But when I read the papers and they're talking about massive force upgrade throughout the whole Pacific, not only in Hawaii, what does that mean to me? It means we are creating another Cold War, not with the Soviet Union, but it's going to be with China. And some of you who went through the Cold War time know what Cold War means. And so, folks, I happen to look at things from the military standpoint, and definitely I see things from a different set of eyes than the local people, although I am one of you. It's because I experienced what I did in my last 55 years, and most of it's been away. When I come home, the paradise, you see, when I left the islands for the first time to go to the military in the States, people, when they found out where I was from, they said, wow, paradise, yes. And I said, yes, it was paradise. 55 years later, I come home. It ain't paradise anymore, folks, the way I experienced it. It's different. So be aware of what's happening around you, politically, economically, okay? Technology, all of the things that are happening. Be aware. But never forget that December 7th happened because of a reason that military built up. And it's happening again. When is that attack going to happen? I appreciate the time to share this view with you. Anytime you are interested in going on that Ahua Point tour, please get together with me, and I'll be happy to take you along with that. Any questions, please?
What's your number?
Number? My phone number is 638-0504 or cell phone 741-2065.
Because I'm radical, I'm from the little to the unknown. The roots we get rooted,